Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Today is January 11, 2019, and I'm your host, Mike, back with another episode of Truth to Power. So this episode is definitely going to chap a lot of asses. Definitely going to have a few panties in a bunch. Whatever else analogies people use when people are pissed off and upset. Anyways, the title for this episode is going to be The Me Too Movement and Black Hypocrisy. And I just really wanted to shed some light and talk a little bit more on one of the biggest issues that I have, especially as a married young black male, is this current issue I keep seeing pop up, and it's the whole gender war issue. Like, I really believe, and I'm going to get my tinfoil do-rag on, I really believe that the media is really trying to influence black men and women to have dysfunction. And it's obvious. It's not like I'm like this super Nostradamus person who can see and predict all these things. I said a week ago, I posted a post on my Facebook regarding that this whole surviving R. Kelly thing was, again, just another ploy for black men and women to, again, have dysfunction. And now this has expanded bigger than, or to much larger than just black men and women. The conversation went from sexual abuse to black men not protecting black women to now the conversation's expanded even further to where USA Today actually posted an article, and the article was titled, "R. Kelly may be under fire, but Chris Brown's career is still flourishing." Now, what does Chris Brown have to do with this? Please do not make me the apologist of all black men who have done dirty and terrible things in their past, but also, like, where is this conversation going? Like, we have to have context. We have to understand what is being done to us. We can't just simply say like, oh, this is about this one person. It's simply about Bill Cosby. It's only about this. It's only about R. Kelly. It's not. This is me. It's bigger than these people. When they can do it to them, they can do it to any one of us. And a lot of us just get behind that narrative and just say like, oh well, R. Kelly, and we get emotional to it, and we start thinking of our daughters, and we think about our sisters, the loved ones, and the people that we've had. And some of us actually have had issues themselves or where they've been dealt with sexual abuse. And I understand. I completely, as much as I can, empathize with that. I also have to say what's best for the overall community. And for us to get exploited and to be working out our issues in front of the national television, in front of everybody, talking about a man pulled out a futon and had me have sex with an underage girl, like the details of that kind of stuff, like come on, like what? Are we serious? Like, this is all for entertainment. And why is it always that black dysfunction is always at the forefront of every entertainment? And people don't have no issue with that. And that's my biggest issue. We have known R. Kelly has been a creep for years, so I'm not gonna sit here and pretend and act like, oh my God, just because the Lifetime documentary came out, I'm about to get like everybody else and drum up this fake outrage. And you know what? Like I said earlier in my previous episode, what I feel like should happen to R. Kelly, he should have been executed. What he did was disgusting, completely disgusting. But I still, again, see no power in another group who we claim to be our oppressor. We claim this group is constantly oppressing us, yet we let this group decide when we should be outraged, decide who our enemies are, decide who our candidates are for everything. Like, we let them choose who our leaders are. We let this group do everything for us, and then we wonder why we're constantly under this group's thumb. Like, how can we get from under this group, these people, when we're constantly going with their agendas? I understand, like I said, sexual abuse is a disgusting thing. R. Kelly needs to go to jail. R. Kelly should have went to jail. But let's talk about the truth of why he's not in jail. Those parents, unfortunately, sold their kids off. So we need to, if we want to talk about this, let's be real and expand the conversation to what it's really about. It's disgusting. We had a mix of pedophilia. We have people selling their children off. So we got basically child prostitution, because what really happened was people sat down there, this woman's family, they sat down there, watched that tape, and said, I don't know who that person is. I don't know. That ain't my niece, or that ain't my daughter. So that is what happened. When they take the paper, when they make the deal with the devil, we can't then 25 years later try to pull up this new outrage and Lifetime documentaries and things like that when we got current day monsters that are doing disgusting things, and we should be focusing on that. Yet R. Kelly is the face of everything right now. and the conversation is all about R. Kelly, to a point where I said this a week ago on my Facebook again, every black man and woman right now is just arguing about R. Kelly, and the conversation went from that, and the argument, which I knew was going to come next, was about black women being protected. I knew the conversation was going to turn into the gender war based on that. So I really want to just shed some light and speak on something that's also, I see is related, and I want to make a point to, and it's the Me Too movement. I think an interesting thing that happened to the Me Too movement is how it got completely hijacked. Now let's talk about where the Me Too movement started. The Me Too movement started by a woman, Toure Burke, years ago actually. She started this movement, basically getting awareness out there for survivors of sexual abuse, sexual assault. Noble act. Who does not co-sign that, and that's a great thing. What the issue is once Toure Burke allowed Alyssa Milano to get involved and say like, hey girl, this, Me Too, we have all, and get involved and also shed light on her movement and kind of take away the sunshine. What happened? Alyssa Milano now hijacked the Me Too movement, to the point now Toure Burke is in the news complaining, or she's out talking about how we need to get the Me Too movement back to where it was supposed to be, and how it's, these Hollywood people took over and all this other stuff, and women of color and all this other stuff. And at the time when men or people were saying, hey, be careful, these people will take over the mass, they'll take over the narrative. Oh, you're just hating, you're just being negative, and da-da-da. And then look what happens. Now it's too late. The Me Too movement have now morphed into something else that she can't even control. The Me Too movement has now been used, it's kind of turned into a joke, honestly, let's be honest. A lot of times now where these things are coming out, a lot of false allegations. We got real allegations mixed with a lot of false allegations, which make the real allegations look a little suspect, which is bad for the people who are actually victims of sexual abuse. Now again, we're going to step into the conspiracy zone, because I believe the Me Too era, because this is honestly a Me Too, let's be honest with you, this is a Me Too era. If y'all Negroes are not on y'all Facebook, Instagrams, going through y'all old pictures and making sure y'all not safe, y'all wild. Because some of y'all, y'all might pop. What if y'all got some music out, some artwork, whatever, you go viral, next thing you know, an old picture pop up of you grinding on a chick at a party, and she was like, I didn't like it. Me too. And you gone forever. Well, not forever, but you gonna sit down for a little bit. But for real, there's like a climate right now of that. Like, dudes is really honestly like, and there's a line. Like, we gotta be honest, there's a line. Men do need to be respectful of women. I have a little sister, I have a mom, I have a wife. God bless me, one day I may have a daughter. Men do need to be respectful and be careful of women. Like, there is no but after that. Like, can we also have a line though? Because women in today's society have some kind of thing where it's like, men don't even know, or not even like, how is a man supposed to even try to initiate? Like, how it's kind of like double dutch. Like, I feel bad for the single man out here. I'm married. God bless. Cause I'm like, anything could be, well, I say not anything, but like, it's getting wild out here what's considered harassment. And I'm just like, there's a reason. It's like a climate, there's an environment that is set up right now where it's just like sexual assault. And there are men that is doing sexual assault, but a lot of times too, it's coming out where it's like, dudes is being exploited. Dudes is saying, give me the bread. Did y'all see the Morgan Freeman thing with the chick that was pregnant? How she tried to say how Morgan Freeman got at her? Like, come on. I'm gonna post the link in the video. Like, that's crazy. Like, we're really in the environment where dudes is getting just all kinds of allegations and stuff. And who is at the forefront of these allegations all through the media? Yeah, we got the Harvey Weinsteins. There's a long list. We got our own Donald Trump, our own president. We got a long list of accusers coming out saying wild stuff. But who's at the forefront of it? Who's trending when we're talking about sexual assault, sexual abuse? It seems like it always switches shit. And back when I was younger, it was Michael Jackson. I thought it was going to be Bill Cosby for a long time. But I guess when Michael Jackson, he died, so he had to give it over to Bill Cosby. It was R. Kelly too, though. R. Kelly, for some reason, I don't know, he escaped it. Boondocks made a funny episode about that, because he escaped a lot of hate somehow We knew what he did. We all saw the video, unfortunately, and he escaped it. But yeah, the black man is the face of all this new Me Too movement stuff. It seems like all over the internet, all over TV, it's just the black man. It's just the black man is everywhere. And I know y'all gonna say I'm a conspiracy theorist, but again, I gotta point to the USA Today article today about Chris Brown. USA Today posted that article, titled, R. Kelly may be under fire, but Chris Brown's career is still flourishing. Like, what the hell this is from this is article from January 11th, 2019. Like, what the hell does Chris Brown have to do with R. Kelly? Now, sexual abuse or pedophilia is definitely disgusting. That's a thing. But why link that to physical abuse and domestic violence with Chris Brown? What do those two things have in common? Besides from these two dudes are R&B singers. Like, this is USA Today. Like, you guys have to think critically. What do you think USA Today's motivation to make that article was? What is the reason? Like, what is the motivation? What is the link between those two things? Chris Brown, R. Kelly, domestic violence, pedophilia, sexual abuse. What is, like, is Chris Brown having a supposed sex cult? Like, what are we talking here? And it's just like, everybody's just like, when that gets questioned, when you put that out there, you're wrong. You're a disgusting male chauvinist, and you're just a terrible person. And something I thought that was interesting that came out of that damn Surviving R. Kelly video is that damn Toure's sexual allegations. After the damn video came out, I guess one of the Toure's, I don't know if I'm saying his name right or wrong. I don't really care because I don't like this dude. But his, I guess some girl he used to work with came out saying how Toure, was sexually, he would like basically be trying to solicit sex to her, specifically anal sex. So I thought he was homosexual, to be honest with you, but apparently he likes to solicit women for anal sex in the workplace. But this man really was featured in that R. Kelly, Surviving R. Kelly, and had his high horse and was talking about like, yeah, and this R. Kelly guy, and did articles actually in past on R. Kelly, and look at it, lo and behold, he comes out, and the receipts are on the internet. I'll post the link in the YouTube video, but the receipts are on the internet. This dude literally, he apologized to the woman. He was, trying to make some excuse about, the environment where we work together. Like, what environment is it okay to solicit or to ask for anal sex multiple times from a coworker if you're not a porn star? Please let me know. I'm not sure. I work in the quote-unquote corporate retailish world. I just can't think of no time where it's really appropriate for me to just, hey, I'm at the water cooler and I'm just asking about anal sex. Like, that's not the thing to do. So I just think it's funny. It's a lot of hypocrisy going on right now. It's a lot of people being exposed. It seems like everybody's being exposed right now. It's like the movement of like, they look it up there and they're like, you involved too? You got something to say? Watch, John Legend will be next. Oh, you got something to say too? That's funny because John Legend was, when I was 16 years old, John Legend was posting me up and I felt something and I didn't like it. Me too. All right, I shouldn't be joking like that, but for real. And the reason why I have issues with this too is because people are trying to really make this out to be a thing about sexual abuse and sex, and it's really a thing solely on sexual abuse and getting sexual, putting these people behind bars, making sure this doesn't happen. There's no more victims. But let's be honest, it's not about sexual abuse, because we're not making excuses again. R. Kelly deserves death. But if this is truly about sexual abuse, for 2 seconds, can we acknowledge the other people in the video who were sexually abused? Namely, not just R. Kelly, but his brothers. Let's talk about the impact that may have had. I mean, I know it was, briefly brought up and they kind of swept over it, but the community afterwards never really talked about that. Like, we just went off of the video. We all logged into Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter and was just like, R. Kelly is a terrible person, disgusting, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, but there's scientific evidence that shows proof about victims of sexual abuse. A lot of times, I'm gonna say most times, but a lot of times it's a much higher frequency that they will themselves become sexual abusers. Like, unfortunately, that is the case. And like I said, again, preface it a million times, R. Kelly deserves death. but let's all keep things in context. Let's say, if we're going to keep it and say this is about sexual abuse, let's be honest. Let's say that it's about all sexual abuse. But it seems like if it's about boys' sexual abuse, we got these people, like Columbus Short came out today and posted a video on his Instagram talking about how he was sexually abused by his babysitter when he was younger. And a lot of dudes are coming out with these stories, and I know it's not to say like, oh, men to compare to women or things like that, but like, whenever a man comes out and says that he's been sexually abused, and a little 9-year-old, 11-year-old, 12-year-old boy, we got the famous story of Lil Wayne, all these people coming out, and it's just like, it's normal. This is a society we live in. It's you know, those are boys. It's different. And you know, it's like, let's say sexual abuse. I have a son. Like, let's say that all sexual abuse is good. I'm gonna feel different that my son's teacher molested him versus my daughter's teacher. Like, let's attack sexual abuse and say that it's sexual abuse. And again, I know that it's all fake bullcrap, because let's look at what's happening right now with this whole Kevin Hart thing. Kevin Hart is being put through the ringer. How long ago did this man address this Grammy situation and apologize and said, what, it must have been over a week ago, where he says, I'm not apologizing no more, I'm over with it. He's now promoting his new movie, he's on tour, he's doing this thing, he's trying to move on past it. He says, you guys have the Grammys, I see what you guys try to do to me, you try to put me through the embarrassment ritual, I wasn't falling for it, goodbye. What are they doing to this man now? Still bringing it up today. Terry Crews, again, I mentioned this earlier, Terry Crews is now talking to Kevin Hart, talking to him about how he's trying to essentially guilt trip Kevin Hart about the victims of his words and how those words hurt and things like that. And it's just like, it's confusing to me, because I'm like, he already apologized. Like, I understand Super Negro Terry Crews is trying to get his butter biscuit points, and he wants to get those biscuits from White Daddy and try to do his dance and all that other shit. But bro, like, he have already apologized. Like, don't try to use my name to get you extra clout with the community, bro. He already said, my bad, I apologize, so and so. But at some point, it's like, you have to accept that apology, and that's it. So when Kevin Hart says, I'm done, and they're still bringing it up today, it's today, to this day. Deontay Wilder, to this day, they still bringing it up. That's a problem, because let's say, again, let's bring it back to sexual abuse. A big thing that was in the news is about this big time West Hollywood donor Ed Buck, and a second homosexual black man was found dead in his apartment from an overdose on drugs. And you probably didn't even hear about this story, or if you did, you heard very little news on it. It was, you know, brief. Could you imagine? Like, I could not imagine what would be the equivalent of if they found a black man with 2 gay white males died in his apartment from a drug overdose. Mind you, the first man, I kind of looked into the story. The first man, in his diary or journal, wrote how he was basically so upset that, first of all, Ed Buck got him hooked on meth, got him hooked on hardcore drugs, and to take away the pain and fetish, sex, all this other stuff. And I'm just like, you won't even hear about these things. What about that man who's killed? Like the LGBTQ community wants to hold Kevin Hart to the utmost responsibility. He's apologized. He's addressed this mucho times. He's already addressed this topic. And when it comes to them addressing their topic of their damage to a black man, because again, I don't get on the gay, the lesbian, the feminine. We're black people. That's the biggest issue we have, is we try to separate each other by all these different demographics, and we let this intersectionality mindset fuck us up and get into this. No, we are black first. So when you harm someone from our community, 2 men from our community have died in your home, and we want answers for that. There is no answers for that. So why is it that we don't require or ask for, or even have the same fervor or anger for that? A man who just recently died, a second man just died in this person's apartment, and we're getting all hyped up about all this other stuff. We getting hyped up about things that happened 20 years ago, things where the parents got paid off and they probably live in lavish houses. Like, unfortunately, we can't do anything about it when your parents will not protect you. The first line of defense, black people, are going to be your parents. And when your parents sell you off, how can you blame the community for failing you? It's like, goddamn, like, if your parents are giving you up to this monster, they sold you off to Moloch, like, what you want us, like, goddamn, like, how do you sit there and watch a video and say this is not your people's? So it's like, that's one of the big issues that I see, and it's like, we got to keep it consistent. Like, again, every time it's something for us, it seems like it's something that's supposed to like separate us, something that's going to cause issue between the black man and the black women. And when I call it out, when people call it out, it's like, you're the bad guy. Recently, we got the story about Michael Jackson and how the Accuser's documentary has been added to the Sundance Film Festival. Now, guys, I'm going to also post a link in the video for this. There's a really good breakdown that this guy, I want to say his YouTube channel is a Drew Story, and he breaks down essentially how all this Michael Jackson shit is fabricated. Like again, just take your time. Just if you watch the video, give it some time, watch it, and then say I'm wrong. But stop. Don't go off of emotion. Don't go off of feeling. Don't go off of what you heard growing up or some rumors or nothing. Like, let's just go off of fact. Let's go off of what happened. Let's go off of truth. And a disgusting thing to me is, why is it that at the last minute, as soon as the documentary on R. Kelly drops, the Lifetime series, Michael Jackson's documentary was added to the Sundance Film Festival last minute. This documentary is going to be regarding, I guess 2 of his accusers are coming out. One of these guys apparently was on the circuit saying that he was lying. So apparently now he recanted that and said that he was not lying, and Michael Jackson did. I don't know. We're going to see when this comes out. I'm not going to actually see shit because I don't support this. This is disgusting. This is another case of the black boogeyman. This is another case of trying to put us to look like the face of all disgusting things, when we really know who, for the most part, are committing these disgusting crimes. So that's how, again, we know that this is not about abuse. This is not about pedophilia. This is about none of those things. We had my guy Corey Feldman come out, and he was going ham. I want to say it was on The View, where one of the chicks tried to shut him up because he was exploiting, talking about the pedophilia that happens in Hollywood. And we know about this. Well, some of us know about it that look into it. A lot of the regular, I won't say the regular person, but the, average everyday person doesn't know about Bryan Singer's past and how disgusting that man is. They don't know about all the pedophilia that these Hollywood executives commit. They don't know about all the people that have come out and talk about disgusting, people don't care. It's not convenient. It's not specific if it's black boys. Let's not even get on that topic. If it's about a black boy, nobody give a damn about black boys. So again, we gotta if we're gonna address sexual abuse, let's address sexual abuse. If we're gonna address pedophilia, let's address pedophilia. But what we can't do is get fake outrage every time white media tells us who our enemy is. Every time they say, hey, go get him, he's the one to be mad at. There is no power in that. That is not empowering. That is not nothing. That is just us being emotional as usual. That is the biggest issue that affects our community, and it's that we're too quick to become emotional. We get emotionally triggered by everything. Every little thing that comes out, we don't wait, we don't do the research, we don't be patient, find out all the information first. We just want to react. We just want to hop out and just, oh no, justice for whatever the case be. Like, we need to work better at being more strategic, at bringing strategy to the game. Like, doing what we've been doing has not been working. Like, doing random shit, subscribing to the mainstream media's lies has not been working. All that has done is paint the black woman as a ratchet hoe. All that has done is play the black man as a thug. I think about this all the time, and I always love doing this test, because specifically the people who I hang around with, the people in my life, I choose the people in my life besides from my family, and my family even, God bless her, some solid people. And I ask these people, like, you watch TV all the time, and there's all these people that these terrible black men who are these abusers and all this other stuff. And I said, well, of all the black men, your uncles, maybe your man, your cousins, and all this kind of stuff like that, how many of them are the way that they're portrayed on TV versus how they really are in real life, versus them being regular dudes, just like a Hispanic guy, just like a white guy, a regular dude that's just working his life, trying to get through his life, going home to his kids. But if you listen to the media, black men hate their children. Black men are never there for their kids. They're all deadbeat. And I think about it, I'm like, well, shit, how many of the fathers I personally know do not take care of their kids? And I honestly, maybe I'll just be kicking people out my group or whatever, or the people who I associate with, but I don't associate with a man who does not take care of his responsibilities based on his woman, not like some shit where his woman doesn't allow him to see the kid and he's out of the kid's lifetime. I mean, a person who just does not flat out care about taking care of his kids. Like, that's not acceptable. But if you watch TV, if the media tell it, black men hate their children. Like, that's just the fact. I shoot, that's not the fact. There's actually a CDC article, I'm going to post it in the video, that says that black men are the most involved in their children's life. But TV will never show you that. You'll never look on the Lifetime News Network or Lifetime News Network. You'll never look on the Lifetime Network and see a video of healthy black relationships. All you'll ever see when it comes to black people is dysfunction. And it's interesting that Vince Staples, who was going ham on R. Kelly the other day at Coachella, randomly, like somebody had the battery in his back. But he was talking about on, I think it was Hot 97, about how black dysfunction and things like that, about how we're the only people that can ever just be seen doing some regular shit. We always got to be seen arguing, fighting, and fussing. But it's like, whose media is that? Like, who controls? I work for a company that controls a bunch of shit. So I'm not telling you guys from just out of nowhere. Like, I'm telling you from when you have like subsidiaries of subsidiaries and subsidiaries, and it all leads up to the one shit. Like, that shit is real power right there. And there's literally only a few companies that control most of the things that people see on TV that they believe and subscribe to. But when you say that, you're a conspiracy theorist, you a conspiracy Negro, you all this other stuff, you too woke, Kang, Hotep, all this other stuff you are for just being able to see the system for what it really is. Because, again, black people always say, oh, the system is against us, the system is against us. But when you literally break down and show them, yeah, you're right, let me show you how it's against us, and let me show you how we can combat that. Then the emotional shit comes in, and it's about feelings. I'm sorry. But yeah, you know what I mean? It's about, I'm not trying to hear all that. Let's get this shit done. We need black men to, handle their business, handle our business. We need black women to hold us down. Like, that's simple and easy. Instead, we sitting here fussing and fighting. And I ask people all the time, do you ever see any other group of people where their women are going at it? I mean, where they're going at it, their men are going at it with their women, and women are going at it with their men. Like, what group? Like, when do Chinese women say, like, Asian niggas ain't shit? Like Chinese niggas ain't shit? Like, or I guess I wouldn't say Chinese niggas, but like, where is that done? Like, you probably got some one-offs here and there, but like, there's literally an acronym called BMAT Feminist, which is essentially stands for Black Men Are Trash. Like, it's to that degree. Like, there's no equivalent to that in other groups. And why is that? Why is it that we're the most oppressed people, and we are also arguing with each other? Food for thought. Crabs in a barrel. I don't know. But just some things I wanted to touch on. I'm going to be bringing out more episodes in the coming days. I'm trying to be as consistent as possible. I promise you I'm going to get better and better. Better production. There's no such thing as more better.